Right Network. Mobilizing, entering the left, energizing the right. New Right Network, home of the New Right movement.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to New Right Network tonight. Your host, Brian Smith, giving you all the real news, exposing the fake news, letting you know what they're not telling you. We are the new news media, folks. This is where you get the real stories here, the real news here. We expose it every single day, Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern. And this is our show, New Right Network Tonight. And in the news in the last 24 hours, there have been some breaking details on some different scandals that are going on. And as you can see, the title of the show, Destroying America, the Criminals. The real criminals, folks, are on the Democrat Party side. Every single one of them that do not denounce the anti-Semitic, anti-America, pro-socialist. If you do not denounce these things, then you are part of the problem. You are part of the enemies of the people. You are assisting the Democrat Party in destroying America. There's a lot of great information that's coming out. Socialism versus communism. Dennis Prager came out with a new video this morning, Prager University, and their new app. Check out their new app as well. Socialism versus capitalism. We're also going to talk about the real crimes. Where are the real crimes? There's no Russian collusion, but there are real crimes being committed as we speak every single day, folks, and we're going to expose that as well. Politico just did another hit piece. However, the hit piece is on Nancy Pelosi, as well as impeachment derangement syndrome. It's all over the place, folks. Impeachment derangement syndrome from the Democrat Party. It's a party that cannot accept the fact that they lost. The Democrat Party lost 2.5 years ago, and they still to this day cannot accept the fact that they lost. Now that Russian collusion is gone, now we're turning the corner, and now it's impeachment at all costs, no matter what, looking into finances of 81 different individuals and the Democrat Party's road to impeachment from the Washington Times. Big tech still doing censorship, censoring conservative outlets like this one and others, as well as Laura Loomer. Obviously, you know Laura Loomer has been banned from just about every single platform. It's unbelievable. Alex Jones being banned from every single platform as well. Whether you agree with their ideologies, their political beliefs, whatever the case is. Just even as the Young Turks, the liberal-leaning left-wing outlet, who is allowed to spew any kind of propaganda, anti-Semitism, whatever it is that they want to say, they're allowed to say on YouTube and stream elsewhere in social media. But conservative minds and conservative voices are not allowed to be heard, and they're being shut down left and right. So as we start this off, as we said, the title of the show, Destruction of America, the real criminals. The real criminals, it's not hard to see as we showcase them left and right on this show. We'll go ahead and run that clip from Prager University. Communism versus capitalism. Socialism, communism, put them both in the same group versus capitalism. Folks, it's on display worldwide.
We can sum up each economic system in one line. Capitalism is based on human greed. Socialism is based on human need, right? No. Wrong, so wrong. It's exactly backwards. And I'll prove it to you. Been on Amazon lately? Each of the thousands of products Amazon offers represents the work of people who believe they have something you want or need. If they're right, they prosper. If they're wrong, they don't. That's how the free market works. It encourages people to improve their lives by satisfying the needs of others. No one starts a business making a thing or providing a service for themselves. They start a business to make things or provide services for others. I speak from personal experience. When I was the CEO of the company that owns Carl's Jr. and Hardee's restaurant chains, we spent millions of dollars every year trying to determine what customers wanted. If our customers didn't like something, we changed it, and fast. Because if we didn't, our competitors would, pun intended, eat us for lunch. The consumer, that's you, has the ultimate power. In effect, you vote with every dollar you spend. In a socialist economy, the government has the ultimate power. It decides what you get from a limited supply it decides should exist. Instead of millions of people making millions of decisions about what they want, a few people, government elites, decide what people should have and how much they should pay for it. Not surprisingly, they always get it wrong. Have you ever noticed that late-stage socialist failures always run out of essential items like toilet paper? Of course, this isn't a problem for those who have the right connections with the right people. Those chosen few get whatever they want. But everyone else is out of luck. Venezuela, once the richest country in South America, is the most recent example of socialism driving a prosperous country into an economic ditch. Now, maybe you think it's an unfair example. I'm not sure why, but okay. We'll ignore the fact that leftist activists celebrated it as a great socialist success right up until it wasn't. But what about Western European countries? Don't they have socialist economies? People seem pretty happy there. Why can't we have what they have? Free healthcare, free college, stronger unions. Good question, and the answer may surprise you. There are no socialist countries in Western Europe. Most are just as capitalist as the United States. The only difference, and it's a big one, is that they offer more government benefits than the U.S. does. We can argue about the cost of these benefits and the point at which they reduce individual initiative, thus doing more harm than good. Scandinavians have been debating those questions for years. But only a free market capitalist economy can produce the wealth necessary to sustain all of the supposedly free stuff Europeans enjoy. To get the free stuff, after all, you have to create enough wealth to generate enough tax revenue to pay for everything the government gives away. Without capitalism, you're Venezuela. In a 2015 speech at Harvard, Denmark's prime minister took great pains to make this point. I know that some people in the U.S. associate the Nordic model with socialism. Therefore, I would like to make one thing clear. Denmark is far from a socialist planned economy. Denmark is a market economy. So when you point to Denmark as a paragon of socialism, you're really singing the praises of capitalism. The more capitalism, the less socialism you need. Look at America since 2017. A policy of lower taxes and less government regulation, that's more capitalism, has led to a robust economic expansion, something thought impossible just a few years earlier. Unemployment, notably among minority groups typically most at risk for poverty, is at a generational low. Economic expansion gets people off welfare and into work. That's less socialism. None of this requires a degree in economics. Common sense is all you need. That's why it's so frustrating to see young people praising socialism and criticizing capitalism. It's bad enough that they're working against their own interests, better job prospects, better wages, personal freedom. But they're also working against the interest of the less fortunate. Capitalism leads to economic democracy. Socialism leads to the economic dictatorship of the elite. Always and everywhere. So beware what you ask for. You just might get it. I'm Andy Puzder, the author of The Capitalist Comeback for Prager University.
And as you can see, it makes common sense. It is common sense. And what they're trying to do is twist it to make you believe that communism or socialism, they're both one and the same. Socialism, just the road to communism. But they're trying to flip the script and make you believe that socialism is the fair and free system to use and capitalism is the corrupt system not to use. It's a gaslighting moment, folks. They're attempting to trick you to get you to believe that something happened that didn't happen. It's the same way that they're trying to get people to believe that there was this big flip, this big switch in parties where the Democrats became Republicans and Republicans became Democrats. It's a proven fact that there was no big switch. Dinesh D'Souza exposes this in his movie. Folks, Death of a Nation is a movie that you absolutely have to see if you have not seen it. Dinesh D'Souza, just an awesome immigrant who decided to go ahead and delve into American history and expose it for what it is. And what we have found time and time again is that the Democrats are behind the KKK, the resist, the overthrow of American values, the overthrow of rule of law, the overthrow of the democracy. The big switch never happened. It's a big lie. That the big switch from capitalism to socialism or capitalism to communism, the big switch. What system is the best system? Folks, it is capitalism. Capitalism has raised more souls out of poverty than any other ideology in all of human history. Capitalism can also be found in the Bible. Folks, you work hard, you produce, you receive. There's no question about it. You have to work hard. Socialism and communism, paying people to not work. This is the Democrat platform. social welfare, food stamps, getting more people on the dole, more people on government assistance. This is how they buy their voters. This is their system, and it leads to nothing but ruin. Go all the way back to ancient Roman times. Ruin, folks. When you start paying off the people, when people start taking more than what they're giving in, it absolutely falls apart. And that's what we're witnessing down in Venezuela. It is absolutely falling apart. Socialism didn't fail in Venezuela. Communism didn't fail in Venezuela. It succeeded. It did exactly what it is meant to do, to take all the power and all the money from the people, to give it to the upper elites. Time and time again, we have seen that socialism fails every single time. There's no question about it. Socialism fails every single time that it's implemented. And as we're talking about this, we've got at Benny Johnson. Follow at Benny Johnson. Great guy on Twitter. He put this video up. He said, I had the privilege of filming the story of these young freedom fighters. They were born in Venezuela and live under real socialism. The government oppressed and harassed and murdered their loved ones. They fled socialism with their lives, and they have a message for AOC.
Let me tell you something, Alexandria.
Alexander Ocasio-Cortez, I want to tell you something.
El socialismo no funciona.
El socialismo no funciona.
My name is Jose. I'm 21 years old.
I am Samuel Machado. I'm 22 years old. I fled real socialism.
Me and my family fled real socialism. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Alexio Ocasio-Cortez.
You're a liar.
You are a liar. You don't know what you're talking about.
You're clueless. You have never gone through socialism, so you preach it like you do. America will never be a socialist country.
America will never be a socialist country.
A lot of people think socialism it's all about equality and free stuff. What socialism is really about, it's starvation. People dying from lack of medicine.
And let me tell you, I don't want the US being socialist. Why? Because my mom was almost killed by the socialist government because she was reporting all the human rights violations. Guys with guns went to my house, put a gun on my head and my little brother's head. Just for that, she almost got killed and all my family with it. I don't want the US to be socialist.
My grandfather had leukemia. We had to go to the other side of the border to Colombia to get our medicine. Single-payer healthcare systems don't work. If you're gonna wait for the government to pay up for your surgeries, you're gonna die waiting on a bed.
In the US, you're free, you can say whatever you want, and nobody's going to attack you for it. I am so happy for being here because now I'm safe, and I feel free, and I feel protected because we are in a free society.
Back in 2007, the government blackmailed my family over a land that was, by law, ours. We actually had to pay them off a huge amount of money just for them not to take it away from us. And it was actually ours, so I don't want that in America, ever. Let me tell you something, Alexandria. You're a liar. You have never been through socialism in your life for you to be preaching it the way you're doing it. El socialismo no funciona.
El socialismo no funciona.
And folks, as we see these young gentlemen who are pleading for the world to see, for people to understand, this from Turning Point USA that's doing a phenomenal job out there in America today, educating those who don't understand what socialism is or believe that socialism actually works somewhere, somehow. These young gentlemen that have had guns pointed at them, at their heads, to be silent, be quiet. This is the real socialism. This is what the Democrat Party is pushing. Democrat Socialist of America, the organization, is funding these socialist Democrats, these radical Democrats. They're funding them to win elections, to be able to making changes in our government that will absolutely destroy capitalism as we know it. And this is what's wrong. In the past 24 hours, Fox News has reported on Ocasio-Cortez's mom, who has left New York to move to Florida over property taxes. Yes, leaving New York City, Ocasio-Cortez's mom, because property taxes are too high. That's what you get with socialism. That's what you get with Democrat policies. On yesterday's show, we showed clips of Detroit City and what has happened to Detroit City. It is in utter ruins. The city is completely fallen apart Businesses have left. Now the new businesses that are going to come back into Detroit City are going to have a mess on their hands to clean up, whether it be cutting down bushes and tearing down buildings that are in rubbles and ruins, all because Democrat ideologies, big union bosses, all these have done nothing but taken money from the hardworking men and women of America. That's socialism. It works like that every single time. Look at the state of California. It's falling apart. People are leaving in droves. The state of New York, people are leaving in droves. They're moving to states where they can prosper. Those states that embrace capitalism. At Akins_Josh tweeted this out. Leave it to socialists to completely mismanage public funds straight out of Moscow. AOC. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on her Instagram account had posted a video of her showing off her new office. She decided to not use Crowley's office, instead getting a new office, which she purports to be paying $8,800 a month. We've got some people on the ground that have investigated it and looked at the space, and the square footage would not be $8,800 a month. It would be somewhere around $17,000 a month, thousands more than Crowley's old office that she could have taken to renovate that one, and instead she didn't. This is what socialist elites do. Socialist elites take advantage of public funds, and Ocasio-Cortez might find herself in more trouble, not for this, but for other things. Folks, these Democrats are cheating every which way they can, and we know it, and we're seeing it. And with technology at our hands, we're able to expose the corruption in the Democrat Party. Something else that has just now come out, thedailymail.com did an article on Ocasio-Cortez and her chief of staff. They face jail time, up to 5 years in prison. Ocasio-Cortez and her chief of staff. This by thedailymail.com. Ocasio-Cortez and her chief of staff could be facing jail time if their control over their super PAC was intentionally hidden. This by the former FEC commissioner. Justice Democrats PAC stated on its website in December 2017, until 2 weeks after Ocasio-Cortez's June 2018 primary victory, that she and her chief of staff held legal control over the super PAC and corporate filings obtained by the three-member board of Justice Democrats PAC. Justice Democrats PAC staffers said that they were discussing to go all in for Ocasio-Cortez as early as June 2017. And now we're seeing documents and staffers showing that they were all in for Ocasio-Cortez a year earlier. This super PAC was funding up to 11 other Democrats. Ocasio-Cortez was the only one that had won her campaign. Now we're seeing that Ocasio-Cortez and her chief of staff, both on the board of the super PAC, which is highly illegal, something that people have complained that Hillary Clinton was controlling a super PAC behind the scenes through the DNC and money led back to her campaign. However, this is blatantly out in the open, as Ocasio-Cortez sat on the board of the Democrat PAC, and so did her chief of staff. On a side note, Cenk and Kyle of the Young Turks network were also on the super PAC's board in early December 2017, but Uygur was forced out of the organization December 22nd, 2017, after what has been found to be extremely disturbing, sexist, and racist statement that Uygur made in 2000 were unearthed. So the Young Turks were involved in Justice Democrats PAC as well, searching for the right candidate. And as they were looking and looking, overturning stones, trying to find the right person to fit the bill, out of thousands of people they interviewed, they found Ocasio-Cortez, and she became the front runner. Also helping to fund the super PAC was Ocasio-Cortez herself, with a tune of $27,000+, which is past the $25,000 legal limit, so she could be in trouble for that, as well as being on the board of the super PAC while running her campaign. This is extremely illegal. This flies in the face election officials. The only problem is why is she not in trouble now? Because somebody needs to file the complaint. It's unfortunate that we cannot get conservative outlets or the attention of some outlets to be able to go ahead and file the complaint with the election boards. This is what needs to be done. The next step needs to be done. We need to shut this down and show once and for all Democrats lying, cheating, and stealing will not bring you success. And Politico, as I said, Politico wrote an article. However, it was a hit piece not on the Republicans, but on Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi and top Democrats will take floor action Wednesday, today, in response to controversial remarks by Representative Omar about Israel, the second such rebuke of the freshman Democrat from party leaders in recent weeks. Pelosi and other senior Democrats are drafting a resolution to address the controversy, which ballooned over the weekend following a public clash between Omar and senior Jewish lawmakers that are Democrats. The resolution, which is still being finalized, comes after backlash from top Democrats who accused Omar of anti-Semitism for referring to pro-Israel advocates to foreign country. Omar's remarks are just the latest in a series of comments she has made that many of her Democrat colleagues say are blatantly anti-Semitic and must be retracted. She is not retracting her comments, and that's why she's in the hot seat right now. Islam is on display here with Omar, folks. Every move she makes, everything she says, everything she does is for Islam. Promoting Islam, pushing Islam. Islam cannot exist in America. Islam cannot exist in Europe. Islam cannot exist in Asia. There is nowhere in the world that Islam can exist or coexist with any other government, any other form or fashion whatsoever. Islam's platform is to invade a country, take it over, and change all their rules and all their laws to become Sharia compliant, which is absolutely against our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence. Sharia law is nothing more than communism wrapped up in a religion. Communism is the religion of the people. Islam is the religion of the people. You cannot have no other religion in the communist regime. You cannot have any other religion in Islam. Going back 1,500 years, all throughout history, wherever Islam has rooted its tentacles in whatever government or country it seeks, it has destroyed. It has rooted out and killed and murdered Christians and all religious individuals alike. So this is why Islam cannot exist in America, and we're seeing this on display with Omar. Omar being accused of marrying her brother in order to gain legal status in America. If this is found out to be true, she should be stripped of her status, removed from Congress, and tried in court. This is absolute abomination. And this next clip is not in the Middle East. It's right here in New York City. If you don't think it's possible for Islam to root itself in America and take over, think again, because it's already here. Dearborn, Michigan has been taken over, and now they're attempting to take over New York.
والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده.
This is what Islam does, folks. This is Islam on display. This is not our culture. You cannot come to America and change our culture. If you come here and want to take advantage of capitalism and thrive and take advantage of the freedoms here in America, to live your life as you see fit, you're welcome to come. But if you're coming to America to change America, to install a different religion, overthrow the government and install a different government, you are not welcome here in America. You cannot come here to this country and think that you're going to overthrow our government, change our way of life, or change our culture. It is not welcome. And we're seeing this on display worldwide, folks, as Islam invades Europe, as Islam invades Germany, the German people being harassed, German women being raped, women in Europe wearing the hijab, not because they've been asked to, but if they wear the hijab, then they will not be raped or molested by Islamic men. This is incompatible with our culture, and we're putting this on display as well. Back in the 90s, I served in the United States Air Force. I was stationed in Italy, and I came across this video. The caption to the video said, "You would think that this is somewhere in Africa. On the contrary, it's in Italy."
quadro i pezzi tutti quanti, si stanno contro le macchine che passano, stanno russando i vecchi, i bambini, a tutti quanti, litighiamo tra 4 minuti già. Quanti sei? Ci sono pandemoni, Andrea? Aspetta, ma mi sposto un attimo e ti richiamo.
If you walk around Florence, Italy, late at night, you will see prostitutes on the street. And these prostitutes are South African women. They're black South African women. They're not the Italian women. This is the problem that Italy's having, and this is why they've elected what they refer to as their Trump. When you see news reports worldwide of Donald Trump going to these other countries, you see the citizen rising up. All the citizens, they're looking at Donald Trump, and they're excited to see Donald Trump, not because they want Donald Trump to come to their country, but because they want what Donald Trump is giving to his country, which is the power back to the people. Folks, it is on display. The year of the citizen, if you will. It is on display to where people can live with control of their own life here in America, and Donald Trump is giving that power back to the people, and people worldwide are seeing this as we reject the ideologies of the Democrat Party, the ideologies that are spread worldwide and on display everywhere around the world. And as James Woods tweets out, at Real James Woods, there goes Wisconsin, at Governor Evers, we're announcing tonight that undocumented folks will be eligible to receive driver's license and ID cards. This makes our roads and our communities safer and helps strengthen our economy and Wisconsin families. This has already been done before. This has been done in California years and years and years ago. Politicians in California kept pushing for something called motor voter laws, or at the same time pushing for undocumented illegal aliens to obtain driver's license. The reasons why they gave for illegal aliens driver's licenses was because a lot of these illegal aliens didn't have insurance and would hit people and then flee the scene. When I lived in California from 2001 to 2012, I was hit. I was also introduced to something called uninsured motorist insurance. I'd never heard of such a thing. When I went out there and I talked to them, I said, why would I need uninsured motorist insurance? There's a lot of people on the streets driving cars that are uninsured. So I had to get insurance for those people who are illegally in the country in case of the possibility of them running into me. No license, no insurance. Now we've got a massive problem because now we've got illegal aliens on the voter rolls because they are able to obtain a driver's license. Once they get that, then they're registered to vote. And now we have illegals voting in the millions of votes in California. We may never, ever see California make a turnaround. And now we have Wisconsin doing what California has previously done on display, showing that it does not work. If this goes through in Wisconsin, Wisconsin will never, ever vote again for a Republican. Never again. Because the handouts of the Democrat Party will keep those undocumented illegal aliens getting food stamps and free money to keep them on the voter rolls. So it's very unfortunate to see Wisconsin fall the same as California. We also have impeachment derangement on display as well. The Democrats are going after Donald Trump. They're going after his family. They are going after 81 individuals, including his children. They're investigating to find a crime. This is not how our country operates. This is not how the rule of law operates. And this is Tom Fitton for Judicial Watch on Lou Dobbs last night.
Nadler admitted he had nothing to go on. I mean, to say you have no facts or evidence of a crime warranting impeachment and then to launch an investigation anyway is the exact reverse order the way our system is supposed to work. It's a remarkable abuse of power.
Are you saying that the witch hunt had it in reverse order? I mean, it's just been a search for a crime, and they're following the lead of Robert Mueller and the radical dim corruption of both the FBI and the Department of Justice.
It's rare you get an admission that they're doing it.
And remember, Mueller was authorized to investigate any crime he came across in the process of investigating whatever the heck it was he was authorized to investigate begin with, which included obstruction of justice and this whole collusion mess, which they made up. So there wasn't anything he couldn't have prosecuted if he found evidence of it. So there is no evidence of anything. The entire
Jerry
thing
Nadler
is an
has stipulated
outrageous
that.
process.
Jerry Nadler has stipulated that. Congress must provide a check on abuses of power. Equally, we must protect and respect the work of Special Counsel Mueller, but we cannot rely on others to do the investigative work for us. Have you ever seen a more... What's your thought about that, Tom?
Well, it shows you that Mueller's come up dry, and it's not just 2 years, it's 3 years, because the DOJ and the FBI began in harassment.
I was talking about the special counsel investigation.
Right, but the investigation generally has been going on for at least 3 years. They've been unable to do anything, and so now one of the worst aspects of what we learned this week is the confirmation that Congress or the House Democrats are going to seek to abuse the law to get the president's private tax returns. So not only will they be abusing these individual citizens using the power of Congress, they're going to try to bring in the IRS to abuse President Trump as well.
Harassment of this president. This is unprecedented and it's out of control. This by the Washington Times. Roadmap to impeachment. Dems cast wide net in bid to take down Trump. Congressional Democrats demanded Monday that the president let them interview the translator who were there for his unorthodox meeting with the Russian President Vladimir Putin as Democrats expand their election season attempt to paint Mr. Trump as a criminal, trying to say that Donald Trump had an unorthodox meeting with Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America. Why would he not meet with Vladimir Putin? Why would he not meet with any leader around the world? This is his job. And to interview the translators because you want to find out some kind of collusion of sorts, which Mueller couldn't find. And again, as Tom Fitton said, 3 years, we're going on 3 years of this Russian collusion, this witch hunt that's got to end. Chairman of the House Oversight, Foreign Affairs, and Intel Committee said that in addition to the translators, they want to talk with anyone who was briefed orally or in written about Trump-Putin meetings. They also demanded to see all documents stemming from the talks. Their demands just came hours after Judicial Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler issued documents requesting 81 people or entities in the Trump orbit or everything from hiring and firings to pardons and presidential emoluments to negotiations with Russia before, during, and after the election. This is complete insanity, folks. We've gone from no Russian collusion to now we've got to nail Trump on anything and everything, wherever we can find it. This is absolute presidential harassment, and this will end very bad for the Democrat Party. I promise you. The approval rating of Donald Trump is moving up. The more and more that they harass Donald Trump, the more that the mainstream media is so negative and hateful towards this president, this will only make his poll numbers go up. People will not stand for this. It will end very, very poorly for the Democrats. And again, just wrapping up the article by Stephen Denon, said the wide-ranging information expedition is likely to become the new standard, leaving future presidents and their teams to fear similar prosecution. This is what the Democrats do. They have no new ideas. It's all about, by hook or by crook, tearing someone down by name calling and bullying. This is all they have. And then again, they've taken over the mainstream media, who does nothing but carry the water for the Democrat Party. And now the big tech censorship across the country, folks, on display. Follow at Julie, ReichWein1. She's an absolute awesome patriot to follow. Follow her. This is a pinned tweet that she has on her profile. Laura Loomer and I just announced our first co-authored thriller. Coming soon this morning, Laura stars as herself as she embattles Mexican cartels, communist guerrillas, FBI corruption, and social media censorship. In this ripped from the headlines thriller, follow me at Loomer Fan Club. So if you want to find out whatever is going on with Laura Loomer, where she's going to strike next, what is coming up with Laura Loomer, follow her at Loomer Fan Club. And as we wrap up tonight, folks, thank you for watching New Right Network tonight. Your host, Brian Smith, and at Mad-Liberals, the Trump meme library on display. Enjoy. We will see you tomorrow, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday.
You've been listening to New Right Network, mobilizing, countering, energizing. Online at newrightnetwork.com.